I am so sick of this. This is my routine. I get home from work, I make dinner, and then I tell myself that I'm gonna sit down on the couch and watch Ellie Goulding sing a Weekend song for maybe 15 minutes, and then it's easily an hour, hour and a half later. I am quitting TikTok and all social medias, but only for a week, because how else am I supposed to avoid the horrors that are created by TikTok and other social media apps? No, but seriously, I have a really unhealthy relationship with doom scrolling, which is the act of being locked into scrolling on a social media platform, even though you don't want to be or you don't know what you're looking for. And in today's constant climate of doom and gloom, it's very, very easy to do so. This is not a recent realization. This is something that I've known about for a very, very long time and have just been ignoring. But I spend way too much time participating in mind-numbing scrolling that is just interfering with my daily life. So I'm going to run an experiment on myself, because I love being a guinea pig, to see if I can actually give up social media for a week. Now, that doesn't seem like a long period of time, especially in my research of learning how to make or break habits. Really, you need about a month to either kick an old habit or develop a new one. But I have never done a social media fast. From the time that I signed up for my Facebook account at 13, because my parents made me wait until I was 13, I have basically been chronically online, and it shows. Which is why I've made my background grassy fields, so that I can hopefully touch grass. I've tried some methods of intervention already, like setting up a screen time limit on my phone, but we all know that as soon as it pops up, we hit remind me in 15 minutes. Or if you're really feeling buck wild that day, ignore for today and do it over and over and over. Trust me, I do it every day. And I know that I could temporarily delete the apps off my phone as to eliminate that route of temptation, but I'm emotionally attached to the 400 plus drafts that I have on my TikTok account. I think this habit really reached its peak in high school and hasn't really ever come down from it. The first thing that I would do, besides hit the refrigerator for a snack after school, was get on my laptop and go to tumblr.com. And I would make it a point, it would be my goal to reach the very last post that I had saw the day previous in my feed. And it didn't matter how long it took me to scroll that far, but that's what I would do. And as much as I would like to sometimes, I can't just rot away on social media on my phone in my house for the rest of my life. I feel like I have already let so much of my life pass me by because I was too scared to go after the things that I wanted, or I feel like I didn't deserve my dreams. And I'm not going to let this bad habit squander the time that I do feel empowered to do those things. Also, with the proposed Restrict Act, we may be losing TikTok. It could get banned. So I also need to see if I can survive without it. I mean, I can. I know I can. But like, maybe I should just get into the habit. I should start doing my stretches. If TikTok does stick around, I need to have a healthier relationship with it, and I do not have a healthy relationship with it right now. Which, everything TikTok is being accused of right now, Meta says, been there, done that. Thanks, Mark Zuckerberg. And I think that we need to all admit that we're at least a little bit addicted to our phones, and it's not really our fault. You really do have the entire world and parts of the universe in the palm of your hand.
The power of the sun in the palm of my hand.
Okay, that sounded a little bit like Dr. Octopus, but it's true. So it's no wonder we want to use them. They are a gateway into endless amounts of knowledge and entertainment and connection. That's why everything in moderation, I think, becomes a very key phrase in this discussion. Because I believe a huge problem in our society is that we don't know how to moderate ourselves. We are encouraged to shop until we drop. And don't ever stop. Let's spend all of our time looking at versions of people that are unachievable to ourselves because they don't really exist, or consuming media that's meant to terrify and make us think irrationally. Social media apps are designed to be addictive, because the same could be said for TikTok. The idea behind its development is genius. Short, quick content with funny filters and trendy, well-known audios. Because I really do have to hand it to them. ByteDance had one of the best rebrands I think we've ever seen. They went from Cringe City Capital, Musical.ly, where you could watch children dance in front of their dying grandparents, to TikTok, a social media powerhouse. And it's becoming increasingly impossible not to use them. They are ingrained in everyday life. I use my phone to set my alarms. I use my phone to check the weather, to check the time. It's how I get answers to my questions. It's how I buy buy food. It's how I communicate with family members who I do not live close to. I could not fully abandon my phone. I need it in everyday life for things like Googling how long can Greek yogurt sit out on the counter for? And one of the biggest subtopics I've seen surrounding social media fasting or quitting social media altogether is dopamine detoxing. And as I've done my research and listened to neuroscientists, everything that I've looked into and resources that I've used, I will link below in the description, have all really gone to say that dopamine detoxing is impossible. It's a key neurochemical that gives you drive and motivation. It's what gets you up out of bed in the morning, gets you into the shower, makes you hungry so that you seek out food. Well, not makes you hungry, but it's what drives you to get in your car and travel all the way to a Taco Bell for a breakfast Crunchwrap Supreme. So really what this dopamine detox is doing is resetting your dopamine baseline in your brain. So not just social media, but if you forego other things that raise your dopamine levels incredibly high, you can get back to homeostasis. And that is the state of balance or equilibrium in your physical body. And I also know that going cold turkey isn't the best way to do things. But at the same time, I know me personally, unfortunately, I am forever trapped in this dome up here. It's the only way that I think that I'm going to get myself to respond to something. I cannot wane myself off. I have to hit an extreme breaking point and get so frustrated and fed up with myself that I have to rebel against whatever I'm doing or have been doing or what my habit is. I have to rebel again. I have to have a miniature revolution in my head. So I'm going cold turkey, no TikTok, no social media for an entire week. But I feel pretty good about it. I feel confident. I think that I can manage this. It seems hard. Obviously, I think I'm gonna face a lot of difficult emotions like FOMO, feeling out of the loop, losing a big part of my daily routine because if I'm being totally honest, I probably spend at least 2 to maybe 3 hours on TikTok a day. And that's embarrassing to admit, but I also think that there's empowerment in honesty and I have to be honest. I also decided to start this on a Friday. I knew I was gonna pick some stupid ass time to do it too. I really wanna start this on a weekend. My first day is gonna be a Friday. I really do just know how to cause myself the most extreme amount of pain and agony. If there's one thing I know how to do and know how to do well, it is make my life miserable. But that's good. I need the misery. It will fuel me. And like I said, there's a lot of things that I would like to work on that I'm not making progress on because I'm pissing away my time, wasting it by scrolling looking for funnies on the internet. My predictions for this experiment: my screen time's going to go down significantly. My phone battery's gonna last a lot longer. I think my attention span's going to get better, as well as my general mood and well-being. And sometimes the weight of the world's problems is too much for me to just carry alone all the time. It's good to be informed. I feel like we can all agree that TikTok has not only educated me on so many things, but is helping me stay in the loop on real-world issues that the other media outlets do not want to report on. But oh my God, is it so bad for my mental health right now. Just the pit of dread and existentialism that sat in my very soul all of today. I am not God. I cannot be all-knowing and all-feeling all the time forever because it's quite literally, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually impossible, and I will just nosedive myself into the Bermuda Triangle of depression. And I think there's a lot of research to back up the fact that social media in the long run is actually really not good for us and our brains, which is really rich coming from somebody on social media, right? So really, dopamine detox is a very fad phrase. It's just something catchy and snappy to get people's attention. And also I feel like with the popularity of juice cleanses, people just love thinking that they can expel everything from their body. But I think that's why variety is the spice of life. That's what makes it so spicy. If you have multiple sources of habits and things giving you dopamine, I think it's harder to rely and or become more addicted to one of them. See, it's learning things like this in my adulthood that makes me really mad that I didn't participate in extracurriculars, that I was too depressed to do that in high school. Oh well. I just got home from work, and yeah, the first thing I wanted to do was immediately get on this. Immediately. I want to get on it so bad. I'm like, what's happening on TikTok? Because this is why I don't want to let myself get on Twitter or Instagram either, because I'm just going to do the thing that I want to do, which is mindlessly scroll. Like at this point, scrolling with my thumb is just a nervous habit. That's why I truly think that when there's a lull in any situation, that the immediate response is to open phone and engage with something else, because it feels like an awkward silence that I know that I can fill. I'm gonna be 100 emoji real with you right now. I wanna get on TikTok so f***ing bad. I ended the recording of that clip to wait for the sun to come back so the shot can look a little bit better, and immediately picked up my phone. And I was like, oh, I'll just pass the time. Oh. It's starting to feel like I'm just sitting in a padded room. I started to keep a tally in one of my work notebooks on how many times I was accidentally opening up apps that I shouldn't be. So on day one, I opened up Twitter once, Instagram once, immediately closed them out when I realized what I was doing, which was good. And I'm also going to keep a tally of how many times I open my phone and look at it aimlessly out of just habitual response. And that has been 2 or 3 times today already. This just really goes to show that you don't know what you have until it's gone.
Pay you paradise to put up a parking lot. Ooh, bop, bop, bop. Ooh, bop, bop, bop.
Or you don't know what you're doing until you stop yourself from doing it and you don't do it any longer, and then you're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. But I had my first poo today, not ever. Or of course, what's the one thing that I always bring with me to the bathroom if I know it's gonna be longer than just a go piss girl? Is my phone. Of course I bring my phone to watch silly little videos and be entertained while I'm dropping some dead charges into the water. So then I scrolled storage options on Amazon. I don't know if that's really detrimental to what I'm trying to do here, kind of, because you also get dopamine hits from shopping. Because not only does shopping give you an increase in chemicals in your brain, but online shopping expedites that. At least that was easier because I knew I had to get back to my desk quickly because I don't want it to appear as if I'm pooping, even though I am pooping at work. I don't want people at work to know that I have internal organs, okay? All right, I decided to make an at-home tally as well. If this receives any tallies though, I'm going to be incredibly disappointed in myself. But Twitter, Instagram, and the times that I stared aimlessly at my screen, it's already at 3. I've been home for maybe 30 minutes. I am sitting here at a loss of what to do. It's like I forgot what I do for fun other than be on my phone. So I think I'm gonna do a bit of light reading because these are incredibly relevant. I'm shaming myself by making myself walk up to this every single time I need to add a tally. Immediately, doesn't matter what I'm doing or where I am. Yeah, that's not looking good. I went to an art show, went to a coffee shop. I did some chores that I've been putting off, like cleaning my kitchen. Got a workout in. I made something new for dinner that I hadn't yet before. Call that gourmardy. I have made myself what I'm referring to as a gourmardy dinner because it's incredibly gourmet. I haven't wanted to invest that much time into cooking dinner. And this is a dope of a ready-made meal that I like to get at Sprouts a lot. And it's incredible. So I'm about to chow down on this. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. It's felt really good up until this point. Right now, for whatever reason, the negative voices in my head are just talking really loud. And normally what I would do to quiet them is to open up TikTok and watch some videos to distract myself, to just like put a muzzle on them. Other than the urge I had initially the first day after I got home from work, because I wanted silly goofy time, this is the first instance where I don't feel that good. But I will soldier on. I'm now self-soothing by eating chocolate on my couch. I'm 100% certain that my hormones are just fluctuating right now and it's incredibly affecting my mood. And normally I would soothe with social media, and while that may provide temporary relief, it's actually incredibly harming in the long run. Because I feel like consuming something that's already slightly harmful for you when you're in a vulnerable state is 10 times worse. So it's actually nice that I can't go online right now and see a bunch of people who aren't bloated, who aren't on their period, who have more energy than me. I'm gonna go to bed. Imagine that. It's midnight on a Saturday and I'm actually tired. For shame. And I'm not gonna lie, I had an almost TikTok. Wow, that one opening of Instagram fucking killed me. I'm a ghost. It feels very reminiscent of the pre-smartphone days where we'd have the internet browser button on our old cell phones, but didn't have internet plans, and our parents warned us not to use the internet on our phones, so anytime we'd accidentally click the button, we'd have to immediately hit the end button a bunch of times as to not have our parents charge $60 for accessing the internet. Crazy times, dude.
She always keep me satisfied. Folded like a present, put the leaf beyond her back.
I feel like overall so far my screen time has still been a lot higher than I've wanted it to be, but I do realize that I use my phone for a lot other than just dopamine escapism. But I felt pretty garbagey today. But hey, even in my low points, I did not resort back to the habit, the thing that I was trying to avoid, even though I knew it would make me feel better in the moment. I feel like I hardly even thought about opening TikTok today. Like, I don't feel so goldfish brained anymore. Like I'm trying to hop to one thing and then quickly another thing and then something else right after that. I feel more grounded, I feel more present. That's really like the overarching theme that I'm really starting to recognize, is like just how more in the moment I am feeling, which feels really good. So my body said rest today and I rested. Just like Jesus in the Bible when he created the sun and the earth and the moon and the stars. And then on the 7th day he said, that shit wore me out. Good night.
I always knew you were special.
I got home and immediately started doing chores. I cannot remember the last time that happened because I don't have a distraction to default to immediately. My brain's like, well, what do we do now? There's nothing, might as well do the things that I know I need to do. It's incredible. Start getting ready for bed and immediately almost opened TikTok. It is such a reflex. Somehow my screen time is even worse or almost comparable to the days that I use TikTok. I'm very disappointed. And it definitely has to do with the amount that I had to use YouTube to fall asleep last night. It was a really rough night. I could not get to sleep. I still felt really lousy. And so I was relying on ASMR meditation sounds to help calm my brain. But if I were to subtract that hour and 30 minutes, I'd still be left with 3.5 hours of screen time. But even though I know that's skewed data, I still can't help but feel disappointed and a little sad to see that number. So even though YouTube wasn't originally part of my avoid list, and I'm not gonna cut it out entirely, I'm just gonna try to cut out my dependency on using it to fall asleep. So even though it's difficult, I'm gonna try to not use it at all tonight and just go to sleep to the sound of silence. So for the remainder of the week, I'm gonna try to not do that. I do feel like I wasn't always keeping my phone in my pocket. It wasn't always on my person. So hopefully we're on the incline.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
L'espoir est un plat bien trop vite consommé.
The last couple of days I have avoided using YouTube to help me fall asleep at night. And yesterday I was at 1.5 hours of screen time. Today I'm only at 2 hours. But my daily average has come down to 3 hours and 20 minutes, which is 41% down from last week. And I can honestly say that I have stopped accidentally opening up other social media apps. That habitual flinch to open Twitter or Instagram when I feel like I've exhausted my resources in TikTok has all but disappeared. And I can honestly say that the amount of times that I have aimlessly stared at my screen looking for something to entertain me before I realize that there's nothing there for me and I should move on and find a productive task to actually pick up and do has happened once, maybe twice in the last 48 hours, which is good because that tells me that I'm being very intentional with my phone use. And with not using YouTube to fall asleep, albeit difficult. I will say that my quality of sleep I feel like improved. I took a lunch break and I was sitting in a drive-thru, and normally I would get on my phone to pass the time and distract myself from the slow progression of the car parade, but instead I would just watch the world. I watched these cute little pigeons take turns drinking from this little hole of gathered water in the grass. It was very cute and very wholesome. But we're in the home stretch of this experiment, but it definitely is going to be a bittersweet end because although I'm excited, rip the hinges off the doors to the floodgates and just let it wash over me. This is progress I want to keep. I don't want to regress. I'd really like to keep this under control and not undo all the work that I just did.
Now why y'all worry about the fuck I do? I'ma let y'all know when the fuck I'm through. Like, they like the way I grind, they like the way I fight.
It has officially been 7 days without TikTok and social media. But I have the screen time to prove that I went an entire week and then some without obsessively using social media, and I feel really good. I think that's the biggest thing that I realized is I do not need it to get through my day. As soon as I knew that I had crossed that finish line and I removed that mental block off of me that I could open the apps if I wanted to, I really didn't feel the need to. I had figured out how my life could be good still without them. So I still have not been on TikTok. I thought that was something that we could do together. Holy shit. Oh, and I have no internet connection. Oh, nothing really happened that I was missing out on, which is actually hilarious. Now I could watch TikToks again, but do I want to? Really, I feel like I gained the perspective I was after, which is I don't need to spend 2 hours a day on TikTok. Sure, it's fun, but I don't feel the need. I don't want to. That's so much time that I'm just pissing away into the void of nothingness.
How much?
Secret.
Why?
Just guess.
$600?
Jail.
Okay, wait, I did miss TikTok a little bit. That's fucking funny. But I feel like I can have a healthier approach where I can disengage from the scrolling whenever I feel like it and say, okay, that's enough. I spent enough time, I've done enough. Really, from here on out, I'd like to start listening to or heeding the warnings of my screen time notifications to tell me that I've hit my limit, close the app, and walk away. Hitting the pot was hard at first, but then it became what it should be, the task that God intended. Simple, easy. Now that was a personal best. I must admit that I did resort to reading the labels on shampoo and conditioner bottles though for a time. I do feel removed from a lot of negative thought patterns that I didn't even realize I was stuck in. I feel much more confident in myself. I've not been comparing myself to others. I feel like I'm not scrutinizing every tiny little detail about myself or feel like I'm missing out on a bunch of things. Even though ironically, when you stop using social media, you do feel like you're missing out on watching people do things, not even that you could participate. But that, along with the feeling like you should and could be doing more with your life, vanishes. It's that comparison game that is so toxic. Feels a little catch-22-y. It's kind of hard to discern whether or not scrolling gave me more energy or the activities that I did instead of scrolling just gave me more energy because of what they were. But I do feel more confidence. I do feel more mental clarity. I feel like my focus and my drive have recovered quite a lot. I did not know how much damage I was unknowingly doing to my brain's ability to just function regularly by pumping it full of garbage and poison. Which, like, don't get me wrong, I love memes and I will shitpost until the day that I die. But like I said previously, everything in moderation. I think the biggest problem that our society has right now is moderating ourselves. We do not know how to properly moderate ourselves because nobody has ever taught us. So we've been given these amazing tools that can do sometimes way more than we can ever comprehend or understand. But we've been given no guidebook on how to properly use these tools. So we as a society are going to have to put together the blueprints ourselves so that we can essentially have our cake and eat it too. Be able to use our devices without them consuming our entire lives and our minds and turning us into couch potatoes with mush for brains. Because we just want the IV of entertainment right into our arm, directly mainlined into the vein so that we never have to unplug from it. Social media can do so much good, but so much bad, and we really just have to find a place of balance within that. There's a point of equilibrium somewhere, and you just have to find that for yourself. Now, as much as it can be my enemy, I love social media, obviously. I'm posting here on YouTube. You wouldn't be seeing this if I didn't like it. But I just need to hold myself accountable and be a more responsible user and consumer of what I'm online for. Guess I won't be needing that anymore. Or this. Ugh. Ow! F you, bitch! I'm leaving my marble era anyway. So if you want to share what you've done that works for you, please feel free in the comments below. I'd love to use this as a general little support group and we can share some tips and tricks with each other and commiserate if needed. One thing that the internet is good for is sharing ideas and thoughts that maybe you wouldn't have thought of yourself. The internet is an endless wealth of knowledge, and we just need to know how to use it properly. You just have to pick the right cup out of the lineup, the one that's not gonna kill you and is filled with poison. But thank you so much for watching. Thanks for coming on this little experimental journey with me. I hope maybe you got something out of it, like I did. And if you want to stick around for more useless content, consider liking and subscribing and doing all of the engagement things for the algorithm with the video. Whatever you want to do. Again, pick your poison. But I will catch you on the flip side. But until then, deuces. Bye! I love how I just finished filming, talking about how I'm done with, like, I can't do this anymore, I'm gonna give up TikTok, and then I just get right back on the app. My reward for completing me talking about TikTok bad is TikTok.